All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is September 16, 2019, and this is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Train Your Mind to See the Trade. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, let's go ahead and get started. By the way, just like I teach in a lot of my webinars, okay, I try to keep everything as simplistic as we possibly can because, the whole thing about trading is if you overanalyze, then, basically you're not going to take the trade and then you're going to end up chasing them. You put a tight stop and you get dinged, and then you get dinged the next time, you get dinged the next time. So what you really want to do is you want to make sure that you get in at the right spot. So tonight's webinar is going to be simply that. I'm going to teach you how to see with your mind's eye, so to speak, to see that trade ahead of time. Oh, let's see. Mindy says it was weird it just started in the middle of the disclaimer. Okay. Yeah, like we all do each and every day. Now, what you want to do is you want to train your mind to see lightning. It's extremely important with our system. There may be systems out there that are volume-based or, some kind of market profile or different things like that. We're swing-based. We actually, everything that we do is based on lightning swings. And you have lightning 1, 2, and 3. And you also want to be very conscious of the larger trend also. And that's not necessarily lightning 4 either. A lot of times it is lightning 4, but the larger trend is usually even larger than lightning 4. Okay, but you got to realize, for instance, if you're trading and you're heading down and you're just thinking, hey, I'm going to go to the floor on this thing, and then it all of a sudden bounces before it takes out a big prior swing, then you got to be ready to, take your coin. And that's what you got to do, is you got to train your mind to see the trades. Okay, now one thing, this little chart right here that I like, okay, this is a chart that I mocked up about a year ago or more, but this is basically showing you what lightning 2 looks like superimposed on a chart, lightning 1 and lightning 3. Okay, but it's virtually the same chart. It's just simply, the difference in the swings. Now, if anybody has any questions on how we trade the swings, they're based on identified swings, and that's extremely important. Okay, and in our members area, there's a good webinar on identified swings. It's in the blue webinars, and I think you'll like it if you haven't seen it, because it does teach you how to see the identified swings. So let's look at the actual chart, and we're going to see if we can diagnose it. And let's go ahead and get rid of this. We don't need it. By the way, draw lines on your charts, extremely important. Look left to trade the right, just like I taught in last Monday's webinar. And by the way, for people that are here kind of kicking the tires, or maybe, going with us on trial or something like that, let me show you real quick where you can get that webinar. Bear with me 1 second. I'll have that for you. Just go to vipertradingsystems.com, and we'll be there in just a second. Sometimes our website's a little slow. All right, and then go to the webinar link. Okay, on this webinar link, you're going to find some really good webinars to look at. Yeah, our site's really slow right now. I was getting a little slow a little while ago on my computer, though, so something may be up with my AT&T. I'll reboot the silly thing. All right. Anyway, let's see. Look left to trade the right. This was the webinar from right at a week ago. And that's an extremely important one right there. I'd highly recommend watching it. And using Object Trader to take some trades, that was Saturday's webinar, and then Charles's webinar on Thursday is right here. Okay, and there's several good webinars in here, so be sure. But if you want to see our system the way we really teach it, that webinar right there. And for members, let me show you real quick. We'll go to the member login just real quick, and I'll show you what you want to watch. All right, we're almost on the member site. All right, we're on the member site. If you'll scroll down on your member site, the way we've done this, we may revamp our website one of these days, but you know, the way it was designed, it's got all the webinars, you know, kind of just in descending, you know, order like this. But if you look at this webinar right here, identified swings are super important. That one will really, you know, give you some good training on how we trade. And then the 4 trade setups to memorize. And of course, phantom trades. Phantom trades are extremely important. You can make money trading phantom trades, but you can't hesitate. You can't think about it. You just have to trade the phantom if you're going to make money at it. Okay, so anyway, those are some good webinars that you'll probably want to take a look at. All right, let's go ahead and go to our chart. So anyway, draw lines on your charts, look left to trade the right. Let's go ahead and get rid of our text here. We don't really need it. Let's see, text. There we go. All right, so if you draw on your chart, if you're looking at this chart right now, to give an example, what do you actually see? Well, first off, you have to draw lightning on it. All right, and lightning, you've got a high here, a low here, and a lower high here, but you don't know if this is going to head up like, you know, right now. So we'll draw lightning 1 or 2 also. Let's draw 2. That's fine. Okay, there's lightning 2. All right, so just judging by this chart right here, drawing a line on it like so, would you say that it's probably going to break down? Very possibly on a rollover? Yeah. And see, you can diagnose that, you know, just by simply looking at this chart, because this particular chart will do away with all the prices, all the mid bands, all, you know, all the different things, and just let you focus strictly on the swings. And if you can train your mind, and it's really important to train your mind to see these swings in real time, you don't need this particular chart. But if you haven't quite gotten there yet, just be sure and pop this one up and check it out. And you'll be surprised. You know, for instance, if they were to decide with what this chart's doing right now, if they didn't take out this low and came in with a higher low, say, I don't know, let's say somewhere in this area right here, for instance, would that very possibly be like a retrace type trade and then very possibly bounce? Now, I'm not saying it would here, obviously, but you've always got to be looking at your charts to see what's really going to happen. You know, did this go ahead and take out 59.58? Well, we'll find out. But always be ready for those higher lows and then start stair-stepping back up also. How do we load that chart alone, Chris B? That's real easy. Just right-click, go to your templates, and load. And the particular one that I've got on here is called the webinar one right here. And you remember, right, because this is on our members. We usually just send out this particular template for, you know, trial. But for all of our members, you've got webinar, you've got true trend, and you've got MTF alerts, and I think you've got the webinar lines, if I remember right. Okay, so this is the webinar one. And what it really is, you just simply, you could make this if you don't even have a template. You could actually just go to your data series and change your bars to where they don't show. Transparent's, you know, invisible man. You can't see them. They're there, but you can't see them. So you just change that all to transparent. And then, you know, that'll build most of your chart right there. But if you need that template, just holler and I'll get it for you. All right, does everybody see this so far? So let's look at the actual chart now that we've diagnosed it, and let's see if we can train our mind to see the trade. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over. and we'll just see what we got setting up here. Now, to me, that looks like they're breaking down. Okay, see your high, your low, your lower high. That is definitely a lower low on Lightning 3. So let me ask you a quick question. Will this phantom more than likely not work? So if you were to short this below 91, where would your target be? Looking to the left to trade the right. Anybody? Well, let's see. I would draw lines on my chart. I would draw a line like right across here. I'd draw a line right across here. And they're already almost to here, so we'll draw it anyway. But let's see if they get any kind of a bounce at any one of these swings at all. Okay? And now, would you, if you woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think this is about 1:10 or something like that. That's what it says right there. Would you see a trade here? Well, the reason, Lewis, on this particular one is because you are breaking. Now, keep in mind, you could get a phantom, yes, but you would want to box it in, right? But the thing is, when you have it break Lightning 3, we were talking about that in the last webinar. You want to be real careful because your better phantoms that work, they don't break Lightning 3. To give an example, let's see if we can find one up here. There's a phantom right here, and notice, that this is a thrust down, a retrace. They never took out Lightning 3 up here. They're kissing this one and they roll over. So that's a legitimate phantom right there. Okay, that's a short phantom at line 6. Okay, but on this one right here, this is not as likely to do it because it's taken out this Lightning 3 swing. Okay, now I would still box this in, but I would be short on this already. Because just like when we trade in the room in the morning, you could actually be short on this trade right now. You want to try it and see if it works? We'll just try it. We'll put our strategy up here. And we'll see. And we'll just do 2 so that we don't get just overly down in case this thing does bounce up. So what I'm going to do, I think it's going to at least come to here. So I'm just going to just flat sell it right there, okay? Not wait for the bar to close. And we'll see if we can get us a little trade. And keep in mind, I would definitely put my stop pretty much right through here. You're only risking like 9 ticks. It should hit its head right there at 91 if it's going to actually break down. And it's breaking down anyway. See there? So, this little trade, and keep in mind, we've got our lines drawn where we think it's going to hit already. See there? Just hit 1. There's a target. Now, of course, you could tighten your stop real nicely. See there how easy that worked? Okay. And how did we do that, though? We basically diagnosed our chart in real time, right? Okay. And look at your little black chart. What's it actually doing? Let's do a Lightning 1 on this one. See where Lightning 1 is. See there? Did we draw? Well, this is weird because I drew this one just thinking it might get down there. That's the support, though, isn't it? Okay, it's taking it out. Where could you put your stop? Anybody? People are always asking about, stops. And of course, swings are different. This is a Lightning 1 swing right there. Could you put it there and take the trade off the table? And the answer is yes, right? Because it would be stair-stepping up if it took out the Lightning swing to the left. Now, it doesn't mean you want to go long because we're actually breaking and we've got a red background now. Let's see where it went. Just curious. We'll just leave Lightning on. See? Took it out. So you're out of the trade. Everybody see that? Now, if you were looking at this chart right now without even seeing the prices, does anybody see, by training your mind, where the trade is? Where have they not checked yet? Anybody? To the left? Well, they haven't checked here. That's about the same as here, but we'll draw them both. They haven't checked here. And let's look to the left to trade the right. That's pretty much it. And then they haven't checked here, but if they check here, they'd be taking out your swing on the left. So they can't check this if they're going to continue heading down. Everybody see that? Now they could wick it, but they can't take it out. Okay, so we've drawn 3 places on our chart. Let's see, wait, didn't it check on which one, Mindy? But isn't the 3 down below at 59.58? Let's look at that. Bear with me a second, we'll get rid of this chart for a second. You're talking about, well, now on the left side of the chart, anytime you get a high, a low, and you start getting a lower high here, and you take out the swing that's identified with lightning 3, that's pretty much changing trends. And we've even got an indicator that'll tell you that. Potential short. It should flash right there on this bar, I do believe. Let me see. Did I put it on at potential short trend change? Yeah. I would think it would flash here. Anyway, that's where I see it changing, right there when it takes out that swing. So this would definitely be, one of those that you'd want to watch. Now, could you have actually still drawn Phantom though? Yeah, but let's diagnose it. Let's just go ahead and close this. We don't care. All right, let's look at this. We broke down, we broke support. Okay, and then you never got a phantom trade. See, because even if you boxed it in, it never went up. And that happens a lot. That's one thing about, when you see a clear area of support and they've made it what we call the lightning 3. Lightning 3 is actually looking at 15 bars, and it's got algorithms built into it so it knows the point of no return. So when this actually prints, and this would have printed somewhere in here more than likely. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This might be the point of no return right in through here. And when it gets the point of no return, it prints that dot. Okay, so when it breaks that dot like that, you can definitely short that. So if it breaks an a priori phantom, is no longer, well, keep in mind, Lewis, that they can still, for instance, let me tell you how this works. If you were to have a double top, let's say that your prices came all the way in this area instead, then this would not be an identified swing, because you would have a high and a low and a high, and it would not be identified. Then you have to go down to your next swing, which is over here to the left. Okay. So the caveat is there that you get a lower high, and it takes that out. Because, what are you looking for in a trend change? Well, you're looking for a high, a low, and a lower high, right? And just like we talk about on lightning, when you get a high, a low, lower high, and a lower low, you are definitely breaking down. Okay. If you look at that little lightning that I had there, just a second, I think I erased it. Let me get it back and I'll show it to you. It's only on an uptrend, but you can still see it. Let me, bear with me a second. We're going to get that little puppy up. See where it's at here real quick. It's on my desktop, but the desktop turns totally blue. Let me see if I can find it. Lightning, where are you at? Here we go. All right. Now this is an uptrend, but it's virtually the same thing. Okay. When did this become an uptrend on this chart? On this particular one, not these. When did this one become an uptrend? When it got that higher low and it took out that high. See, so if you think about that on the other side of the coin, then obviously, when it takes out this little swing right here, you're pretty much in an uptrend, right? It's the same thing if you flip it over and it's a downtrend. That's what we're looking at on that other chart. So what I'm saying there is you want to be careful, with phantoms when they do break, not when they triple top or double top or something like that, because then it's not an identified swing. Remember, to have an identified swing, you have to have actually the break. You know, for instance, you got a thrust, you got a retrace. Well, if you retraced all the way down to here and then topped out, you know, here, you don't have an identified swing at all. But if you get a trade like this, let's say more like that, and then it's up, then that's an identified swing right there, because it takes out the swing on the left. Okay? And like I say, that's super, super important to know, because, you know, when you did this, thrust, retrace, lower, high, and break, then you were changing trends. Okay? Our software catches it, so you notice you got your red background and everything. But now you're looking for what? Anybody? A retrace trade, right? So could we be ready and look at our chart? Well, we've already drawn on our chart. We know where this should hit its head, right? By drawing on our chart. Let's see, so it's an identified swing to the flip side or downside. Well, basically, this is pardon me, got tongue-tied. This is a high, this is a low, this is a lower high, and that's a lower low. So, you know, for instance, when this actually breaks this swing right here, you're no longer heading up. Now, what if you boxed it, though? Let's say that you said, okay, if it breaks this, I'm going to short it, but I'm not going to let it go against me. Then you would be, you know, you would not let it go against you. You know, you just don't let it, you know, for instance, let's say in real time you shorted this and you said, okay, Gary says don't go back in the box. Well, you could even go back one bar if you wanted to, something like this, and then just ride the trade if it didn't take out that line, you know, because that wouldn't be risking that much. And then once it literally drops, you protect your coin. We'd already be out of this trade, by the way we teach. We like line 2, you know, to get out of that trade. Or you could even draw a trend line on it and you could still get out. You could see a trend line right through there. Okay, so now that we've diagnosed our chart and we're training our mind to see the trade, let's look at our little chart again. And let's get rid of our lines, and we're going to draw them again fresh. Let's go ahead and get rid of, we don't really need anything more than lightning 3, and we'll get rid of lightning 1. I will get rid of lightning 2, and we'll draw lightning 1 from down here. All right, so this is lightning 1 right here. All right, now where have they not checked on this chart? Anybody? Train your mind to see the trade. You look to the left to trade the right. Okay? They have not checked that swing right there. Okay? And I can tell you this, that as a rule, when they break down like it did, it's going to check that swing. Now, you've got to draw like lightning 2 also, or even 1. We'll draw it and see if they've got a little higher they could check or something. There's lower that they could check. Remember, we already diagnosed this. See, this is where it could check for a sweet spot, but it can't go any higher than this. Everybody see that? Because this is like a secondary swing. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. They are starting to break this one, but that's really minor. This is where they're trying to check. You don't want them to go any higher than right there. Okay? Because if it goes any higher than that, they're probably not going to head down anymore. So I'll show you where I would be looking for a trade. I would be looking in here. We're going to have a couple of spots that we're going to be looking at. And keep in mind, you can box these. That's the beauty of trading the boxes. Let's set that as default for just a minute. And then we'll go ahead and look right here also. Somewhere right in that area right there is where I'd be looking for trades. So anywhere in these little sweet spots right here, if it takes this, all right, and rolls at all, could you box it in and take the trade? And the answer is yes. But remember, they haven't checked this swing yet. And as a rule, they usually do. Can you type in a text where it can't go? I want to make a copy. Okay, I can type a text on that for you. Right click, drawing tools, text. And let me change my font so we can see it. And we'll put it in about 20 should be fine, bold. Okay, so cannot go above here. And we'll put an exclamation point on it. Like so. Because what would it be doing if it did? Anybody? Like I said, this is a little minor swing right here. And keep in mind with a lightning 2, this may not even be a swing. Let's look at it and see. Let's take lightning 1 off, and we'll put lightning 2 on. See there? See there? It's just straight down on a 2, just literally 2 bars. So you got to be careful with lightning 1. And even lightning 2 is pretty small. But see, you can tell that they're trying to go back to here. And could they go higher? Yeah, they can go into here, here, and here's even another sweet spot right here. Anywhere below, anywhere in this little area right here, you're looking for it to quit going up and roll over. Okay? And we'll see. Let's draw lightning 1 from down here. Let's see if we can figure it out when it gets there. That's pretty much lightning 1 already, so we'll just draw it. All right, let's see. Let's see if it does. We're not going to worry about trading it. Let's just see if it does. Checking support, higher low. Still heading up. Checking support. Checking support again. Support's right here, right? Look at there. Look at there. See there? Now, if you look at your actual chart, what actually happened there? How do you draw the lightning, Kenneth? That's real easy. On your scripts in our template, we've got an indicator in here called lightning. Okay, lightning 1, lightning 2, lightning 3, and lightning 4. Each one of these has a hotkey. Okay, so if you want to draw lightning 1, you just simply hold the Alt key down and left-click your mouse on a swing. Lightning 2 the same way, except it is with Shift key. Okay, and then lightning 3 is more important, that you have to get to one of these numbered swings. You can't just draw it from one of these small ones, because it only draws from lightning 3 or lightning 4 swings, which have the text on them. See the number here? Not text, but number. So you can draw lightning 3 anywhere that there's actually the number. See the dot? That number's above it, but that's actually where that is. We just put the number above it so that you can see the dot easier. Okay? Everybody see that? Diagnosing in real time? Now let's look at it and see what it looked like on the chart, because we're trying to train our mind to see these trades. What trade is that? Anybody? It's a phantom, right? Now, could you have actually done this trade just like we were doing there? See how it was doing its little dance, lightning, and then it rolls at phantom. It hit exactly where we thought it would, right? We diagnosed our chart correctly. It went up a little higher, but remember, it didn't take out the swing we said it couldn't take out. And that's a beautiful line 6 phantom trade too. Everybody see that? Now, is there another trade setting up right now? Anybody? Well, looking to the left to trade the right. As a matter of fact, there is. You got a little swing there to the left that they just checked. See it? Right there? And they could check as high as right here, but keep in mind they can't go here again, because if they do, then they're going to be like double topping or something. We need a lower high right now. So what will we do, Viper traders? Anybody? Could we box this in? Just like that, right? I like a touch myself, touch +2. Hopefully I can get it. There we go, got it. Okay, just box it in, absolutely. The beauty of the region box, and we'll put our stop just right above, you can clearly see that it would hold 87 because it got a lower high, so it shouldn't go much higher than 87. You really don't want to go to 99. Okay, let's see. Lewis says 72 take low short. Well, you could actually keep in mind that you can do this when it kisses a resistance area that you look to the left to trade the right, especially when they hit these predictors. Now, this trade right here, let's draw this so that we can all see it. Because remember, on our black chart, you can't see all these prices, but let's draw it right here. All right, and let's diagnose it. That's lightning 1. Let's do lightning 2. All right. So, if you were waiting for this to come up and kiss, you know, this did have a little area right here that you might have shorted, because we teach this trade too. See, we drew a line there. I mean, we drew a line on that black chart ahead of time. So that could have definitely been a trade. But what you want to do is you want to quit stair stepping, you know, to the upside, because obviously if this was to decide to break these lightning 3 swings, this could be a trend change, by the way. Now, this is a phantom that I would have trouble trusting because it did do the same thing as it did opposite over there. So you have a thrust, retrace, and a thrust, and you definitely took out lightning 3. Okay, but just like this trade over here, if you boxed it in, you never got the trade. If you boxed this one in, you did get the trade. Everybody see that? That's the difference in those two trades right there. This one, if you boxed in like we teach on phantom, like right, that's right, triangle. I want a triangle. Bear with me a second. If you box this in right here, did this ever go long? And the answer is no, it did not. Matter of fact, the bar didn't even close back up. You know, now I might have taken that phantom if that bar would have closed back up, and then I would have put a real tight stop and probably even more than likely reversed it if it would have taken the box out. I do that in the mornings. Okay. But keep in mind that if you do get a phantom and it's taken out lightning 3s, you know, you got to be careful because that is definitely a thrust, a retrace, and a thrust. So that was portending a trend change. But they do that a lot, and that's why these phantom trades work so well. Okay. Let's see, we got this trade, didn't we? Right there. Now, looking at your chart to train your mind to see these trades, let's see if anybody else can get another trade. Okay. We're going to try to draw on our charts and see. And matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and keep in mind that if you weren't in a trade, you would want to either take it, like on a little break, or you're just going to have to wait because, you know, you're in a thrust now. Okay. Now, if I saw that happening like that, I would probably even add, not necessarily 4, but, you know, and then I put my stop right up in here. Okay. Because that would be taking thrust, retrace, thrust, take my lightning out to the left, and it could actually, you know, break my stop. But if not, then I'd be okay with my stop right above that swing. Okay. But let's just pretend that you didn't get this trade at all. And let's see if everybody can figure out where the next trade is. And we'll draw on our chart. Okay. So let's look to the left, trade the right. If you get down to like this 37 or so, that would actually be a pretty good area for a bounce. I'd probably put one that would run, and I'd put pretty much everything right down here just in case they hit their head. Okay. Everybody seeing a little bit more about how to train your mind to see the trade? Train your mind to see the trade. It's really, really important. Wow, I must have hit that, knocked it out of the loop there. Okay. But if you were to break, like say that 36 area, to give an example, okay, does everybody see where you could actually look for another trade? Well, you want to look around that mid band. It's really important for those trades to get around that mid band, and you want to be careful if they don't. And for instance, if that was to break like that 62, to give an example, could it actually give you, a trade there? Or if it broke, give you another one? You can always look to the left to trade the right. Now, if you weren't in this trade, let's say that you got up and it was this time of the morning, but you hadn't taken a trade at all, okay? And you missed this one and you missed this one. Do you see that you could more than likely take a chance on a trade if it broke the bottom of that swing right there? Because you would at least get down to this one over here to the left, or very possibly this one at the bottom. But it would be more of a breakout trade, okay? So if you weren't in this trade and you happen to get up in the middle of the night, this is probably the way I would trade it. I wouldn't just take it willy-nilly right here, because we don't know if we're getting a double bottom yet. If it takes out this swing, would it be possible to take the trade? Let's check and see. Maybe our first bad trade, but we'll find out. Let's see what it does. We've got it set on touch +2. Now I'd probably go ahead and take actually one, more than likely, if I was doing this. And then I'd put my stop just above the swing, just in case. That way I'm not risking all that. And then I'd probably turn that on, and we got us a trade. All right, everybody see that? Now look at this. See where that's kissing that swing right there? Would we, if we opened the room at 2 o'clock in the morning, would we have actually triggered that trade there at that line? Yeah, because it kissed. And where could it not go above if it was going to stay your way? Let's just say we just tried that with one. I got it late, but let's just see if it works. This swing right here is our identified swing on the left side of the chart. You can't go above that, or it's no longer heading down. So could I just trust that? Anybody? Looking to the left to trade the right, could I just trust that? When I'm up fairly nicely, I probably would. Okay? Let's see, would you let it pass the swing that's not identified? Well, like with your low here, high and higher low, like right now, I would be watching it very closely, because if it did take out this swing, you need a lower high than this one here, but you also need a lower high than this one here if they're really going to head down. Let's see what they do. Yeah, then I'd put my stop just right there. Now you're pretty much at, pretty nice little break-even trade. What do y'all think about doing this particular type of trading and making sure that you make money every day? Because it does work. It flat does work. It's beautiful. It actually works all the time. And let me show real quick, because we got some trialers in here this week too. This is the type of training that we do in this room. Okay, I want to show this real quick because I'm in the process of training Linda to trade this. This is her Top Step account, which she is funded on. You can clearly see funded pro account. Now she's no longer in the pro account, and I'll show it to you in just a second. But this is her graph that I taught her to do. And since she got past this 5,000, she's not really hitting these $700 and $600 days as much. She's kind of stopping at $300 and $400, but that's fine. $300 and $400 for extra spending money for her in a day. She doesn't even need that at all. But, see, that was 100% winning days, 10 days complete. And then let me show you the way Top Step does. They actually then go to what they call the premium funded account, I think is what they call it after that. And I'll show that to you. The premium funded account just adds the 5,000 that we just made. And here's her graph right now. Okay, notice it's the same account. It's up $5,756.20. She hasn't broken any rules. She's 100% on this one too. So that's 2 days complete on this one. But remember, the pro account is actually to where you get to 5,000. Top Step then turns it into real money, and then you start trading what they call the premium funded account, and you pay them the exchange fees. But see, here's her little graph here. She's a little bit more like that one was 460 and 80 cents, and this one was 295.40. She just hit right at $300 today, and she decided to quit. And keep in mind, oil could have made you, a bunch of money today, but you don't have to, keep trading either. She was perfectly happy at $300 because her account's now at 57.56 with no losing days. And that's what you want. You don't want to zigzag all over this thing, okay? Because you won't make money if you do. You got to keep those consistent, upward moving on your graph, okay? All right. And the only reason I showed that too is, we do have people that come in here from other vendors and things like that. And this just lends some credibility because, granted, with replay, I could be showing trades that, obviously, you could just see something that's already happened, right? But we do this every day of our lives as far as, getting nicely green, turn off the machine. Okay. So let me ask a quick question on this. Does anybody see another trade setup on this chart? Anybody at all? Well, you hit it perfect. It looks like it's still heading down to me. So let's just bring our stop and train our mind to see the trade. And this is another area that a lot of people have troubles with, is staying with the trade. Mindy, no, OneUp does not have exchange fees. That's the one area that they beat Top Step on. What I do personally like about Top Step, being a totally American company and been in business for quite a while, and I don't really mind the $105 per exchange fee, is not a big deal at all. Okay, notice how you've got identified swing, identified swing. Could you put your stop there for now? And if it drops more, bring it down. Just put it with your swings. You sometimes have trouble staying with the trades because I get in late and so I get out to take profit. You can do that too. Keep in mind, just like I showed on Linda's, I mean, she wasn't trading oil short, by the way. When we got up this morning, oil was long. Okay. Now, when will oil go long? Anybody? If oil was to decide to break up, when would oil go long? By the way, we may get stopped out of this. Let's look to the left to trade the right, though, and see where we can get back in this. We'll draw our lines on our chart. Shouldn't be able to take that one out, though, right? Because you have a thrust, retrace, thrust. So they don't really want to go that high, but they could. So we'll put a line there. Our mid-band is right at 29. We can't take out this swing right here. Okay? Because basically you have a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So that's like a primary swing, and that's more of a secondary on a little bit more of a medium swing. Okay, so let's see where this thing goes. And by the way, keep in mind, you box these in. You don't necessarily know exactly where this is going to hit its head yet. Okay, let's see if it takes us out, though. It looks like it's trying. Not yet. Yep, it's going to. You can tell. See how that bar went down and then that one popped up? All right, so let's see if we diagnosed our chart. All right, we're gonna draw on our chart. Let's look to the left to trade the right. Got a swing right here at 40. Over there to the left. You really don't want to take this out, but keep in mind, if they do take out what we call micro, they'll usually go up and check medium. So far, it's just a rollover, though. Let's see if we can get a trade, though. We'll diagnose it. Now, Predictor says that you should get a trade right in this little sweet spot. That's a higher low. And by the way, there's some of these that you can take some quick little scalps too. All right. We're taking out that swing to the left. Could you box this right now? Anybody? Let's see if we can box it. I see a little swing right across. Well, that's a 1, 2, 3 reversal. We'll take a chance it'll take that out. We'll try it. Needs to take that out. Touch +2. That should fire for us. Let's see if we can get 2 on it. Our region should have fired. That did, okay. It was 2 + 1, so it just didn't get the 1. Let's put our stop just above the swing. And let's see if we can get a trade. Trying to go to the bottom. Just like that. Everybody see how you can train your mind to see these trades? It just flat works. And you're going to be able to tell when you draw on your charts right at where that trade is. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this, and I'm going to see if anybody else can nail the next trade. Okay, because this is when I don't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, by the way. I'm not a night owl. So I'm going to fast forward this chart to the time that I like to trade, and I want to see if anybody else can nail the trade. First off, let's look to the left to trade the right, though. Does anybody see where very possibly if oil was to decide to break above, that they would be probably changing trends? And then you could wait for a retrace. So I always like to draw on my charts. And we're going to draw a line right here because this is lightning 3. Now you did bottom, so this would have to be taken out to ever head up. Okay, so far they're still taking out the low. So let's fast forward this. I'm going to get to 6 o'clock in the morning. So I don't lock up a chart, I'm going to go ahead and just let it do it at 500 times. Just let it do its thing. There's several trades set up here, by the way, just the way we teach them. All right. Not 6 o'clock yet, though. Let's see if we can go to 6, because 5:30 even. I get up at 5:30 sometimes. We'll let it do its thing. It's frozen for just a minute. I'm letting it do its thing real quick because I want you to be able to holler it out. Because when you get up or when you get to your computer, that's when the trade sets up, right? That's absolutely when the trade sets up. This one's kind of hard to miss, though. Does anybody see a trade setting up here? I like it because it's a phantom. I'd put my stop nice and tight just in case. Right under that swing. If it pops above this one, I'll bring the stop up even higher. But I wasn't up at that time, but I couldn't resist a phantom setting up. That's a beautiful phantom. Now, if this actually gets a low here, a high here, and a higher low, is this probably going to head up? And the answer is probably yes. Okay, so let's fast forward it again, though. Like I said, I'm not up at that time. We'll just let it do its thing. Now we'd bring our stop, obviously, at least to mid-band, to your little swing, to your little swing, to your little swing. And by the way, you can do this all with the software too. You can actually turn on the 6, you know, and take a trade like that. That turned into a little monster, didn't it? Everybody see how you got that trade, though? That is just simply a phantom trade, and phantom trades work out. So let's go to like 6 o'clock, and we'll just kill this trade. We don't care because I wasn't up. I'm going to go to 6 o'clock in the morning. 5:30 at least. We'll go to 5:30. Everybody see another phantom trade set up? What do you think about that phantom trade? See, that's a trade we teach right there. Phantom. If it breaks it, could you short it? It's not breaking it, but if it does, I'll do a quick short if it does. I'll do a quick long if it goes above that swing. We'll box it in. I'm going at 500 times, so this may be hard to do. I'm going to short it. See it hit that swing, take it out. I'm going to put a real tight stop on it. Now that's again one of those that we talked about just a few minutes ago. See the high, the low, the lower high? Notice it didn't double top. So when it breaks that swing and it doesn't do that, just like when it did it over here earlier, you can take a long up to that phantom if it starts breaking that swing. Like this right here. You know, this was actually, looking on the left though, it never broke this swing. So that would have still made that phantom good. See over here. We're still okay on the trade. Okay, let's say that you got up at 540. Does anybody see a trade on this chart? You want to draw the lines on the chart and see? All right, let's say we get up at 530. We're looking to the left, trade the right. They have not checked that swing. They can't check that swing. All right, everybody see that? All right, they haven't checked this one, and they haven't checked this one. All right, so let's see if we can get a little trade. You got to at least check 38. See our little predictor telling you where the trade's at? Predictor saying it's right there. That's good enough for me. See it kiss? Put our stop just above the line, and we got us another little trade. See how drawing on your charts can do this? Now, will you get every single trade? Probably not. When it gets, keep in mind when I teach how to trade this system, when it turns this background, I only look for that trade. When it turns this background here, I look for a first-time mid-band trade. If it doesn't take out the low here, I'll look for a phantom trade. All right? And if you get a phantom trade, you can take those. Okay? Now looking to the left to trade the right, by the way, they actually held this swing and they just barely took it out. So this is more than likely going to head up. See your high, your low, your higher high. That's looking at that fourth trend we were talking about. Now I'd probably be protecting this trade because that is not, yeah, definitely not heading down anymore. Okay, anybody see a trade on the chart? Well, you've got a little phantom trade setting up, but you do have support right here at 42. You want to try and see if we can box it in? We'll box it in. Got to get my box correct and bring it down. Look to the left to trade the right. 46 is resistance. I'll probably put this little puppy about like that right there. Let's see if we can get something. If it comes down lower, we'll box it again. It could come right down to here. Now, if it blows through that, we shouldn't get a trade to begin with, but let's see if it bounces. I'm just curious, because that did break lightning 3. Everybody getting an idea of how to train your mind to see these trades? Because keep in mind that, you know, when that room's opened up every single day in the morning, this is what we do on these charts. We draw on them. We, you know, take our mind's eye. We look at the chart. You know, try to look at the chart like it's really looking like this right here, you know, so that you can really see what's going on. You know, for instance, don't look at all these colors and everything. Bring it more to where you just simply have like lightning 1 here and lightning 2 here. You don't need it all the way back here. You know, So where do you see on this chart? Let's just do lightning 2 instead of 1. Where do you see on this chart right here that if they pull back to and hold as support, that you could get a bounce trade? Like maybe right here and maybe right here. Now then what you have to do is you have to look at your chart and see where the prices really are. So we drew at 59.42 and 59.38. So let's see here. See, and we still drew the same ones on this one. See there? Okay. So we got us a trade, by the way. All right, we'll put our stop just underneath the box, like so. If it takes out support, we don't really want it. And we'll see if we can get a trade. And then, of course, you just move your target, look to the left to trade the right. I like to get to lightning 3 swings if at all possible. So right in this area right here, you'd be shooting for, because that's what they're doing. You know, they're looking at those lightning swings. Let's see, what's confusing about you taking a long right now? Okay, what you want to do on that, Mindy, and this takes some practice to really get good at this, and Charles and I are really good at this nowadays. You know, you'll see Charles taking the same trade with me. You know, now, could you actually wait for a thrust and a pullback? Sometimes it'll just leave you sitting if you do. But see, where this was starting to tell you that it was trying to head up, you had this low down here. So let's take lightning off the chart. I want to draw something for you, because we never want this to be confusing at all. All right, so let's look at this. You had a thrust up, like so, right to that dot. You had a pullback, but that's a higher low. It never took out the low down below. Oh, that's no problem at all. I'm happy to help. But see how this is a higher low, and then you started even stair-stepping each time they've tried to pull back? That's pretty much telling you they're trying to head up. Now, when they took this out, they were heading up. Okay, notice how they kissed it right where we said they would, right at 42. Okay, so that makes, you know, pretty good to trade. Now, keep in mind that this is still like a phantom, so could you actually short for 10 ticks? You actually could. You know, because more than likely, if you, well, this never hit phantom, but if this hits phantom and rolls, you know, let's say that you weren't in anything. Let's just see if we can get for the fun of it, let's see if we can get a short trade. I'm going to watch the bar. See if we can get a phantom. All right, I'm going to short that bar. And the reason is because that's a phantom trade. Okay, and there's our phantom. Now we're going to put our stop nice and tight. We're only going to try to get to, let's see, looking to the left to trade the right. They checked this, but they actually doubled it. See the swing over here to the left? They've done it twice, so they'll probably tag it twice. So let's just take all of our coin right there. Let's see if that short works out. And by the way, when you get into a trade like this, you can always take some coin just as quick as you can get some. For instance, if I've got even 5 or 6 ticks like that, I can go ahead and buy to cover one of these, okay? And then I can start putting my stop nice and tight just in case, okay? Now, if we're going to head up, you have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, you have a higher low. So what do we actually expect, everyone? Well, you got a high here, a low, and they barely took it out, so that's not what I consider lightning, but this is still a low that they're trying to identify. So if they're going to head up, they should get a higher low. You should be somewhere in this little sweet spot to actually head up, if they don't take this out. Now, this is a true phantom trade. This is a legitimate phantom trade. But see how I can trade it both ways, Mindy? You can actually trade this trade both ways by diagnosing your chart properly. Okay, it looks like that may take us out, and that's fine if it does. I don't care. Just one sec. If that takes us out, it takes us out. We'll be fine. Okay? Now, what if this was to, you know, when you actually get a phantom type trade, keep in mind that phantoms can always be trend changes because phantoms are deep retracements. You know, phantom type trade, you know, for instance, let's say looking to the left to trade the right, there's a swing right there. What if this was to decide to break above that? Now, I'd probably put my stop still somewhere like this, but what if you said, you know what, if this was to break this right here or come down and kiss this, could I actually go long? Or could I wait for a lightning to resume back up? And the answer is yes. Okay? Because again, keep in mind that you can get long phantoms and you can get short phantoms. Because phantoms are always deeper retracements and they will most normally give you a mid-band break. Obviously, they will break mid-band, right? Okay, I'm going to tighten my stop a little bit more just in case. And let's just see what this did. And we're almost through at the webinar. Yeah, it took us out. By the way, does everybody see a little bit more how you can trade like this? Let's see if we can look to the left to trade the right. I'm going to take that if it, oh, too late. Too late. Mercy. Everybody see where I drew my lines on my chart though? I've got that going at about 20 times, so that was quick. Anyway, notice how the lines are drawn on the chart though ahead of time. You know, so you can see these little sweet spots. Did I mention that if you had a high here, a low here, and a higher high, that they'd probably get a higher low if they were going to head up? Yeah, and you can really see it in real time. Oh, and matter of fact, this was the trade. No, actually, the next trade's the one my wife took. You want to see if you can diagnose it and draw it? Well, let's let predictor do it, but we're going to draw it. I'm going to draw right there. That's support. I'm going to draw right there. That's support. See it? Little zigzag. And I'm going to draw right here. That's support. Everybody see that? And by looking to the left to trade the right, our predictor should also draw here as soon as it figures it out. You'll see a green predictor show up, and we're going to see if we can take a trade, because this is the trade that Linda took this morning. But you draw on your charts to see the trade. See if we can get a predictor. Got my lines drawn, right? My lines are drawn. We're ready. We're ready for the trade. Look at that. Could you take that trade right there, anybody? And all she did this morning was put her stop. And she did this with only one contract, which I would rather have actually done two, especially when it breaks this little box. You know, because if you did two, to give an example, and put your stop here, then you could take some coin when it gets up here to this top. And that way you'd be in the green rather than waiting for any kind of retraces. Okay, but she didn't do that. She actually literally just held on to one, and I'll show you what the trade actually did. I remember it from this morning. It comes down and tests again. I remember that. It was a higher low. See it right there? And then she got her $300. And she was done. Nicely green. What do you do, everyone? Turn off the machine. But draw on your charts and you'll see the next trade and the next trade and the next trade. Okay? Did everybody enjoy this webinar tonight? I try to make it educational, but always remember that when these trades are taken, and I could clearly show you on her P&L today where she got in and where she got out. And you can tell that even though this is done in arrears, so to speak, because of market replay, because that's the only way really to do a webinar, you can clearly see that she did the right trade. And with one contract, she could have either taken about $200, well, actually a little less than that because she waited for the bar to close. So maybe $120 or so, but she held it and it bounced. Okay. Yeah, if you did 2 contracts, you'd definitely want to have already taken a scalp. Absolutely. The problem with 1 contract is that you pretty much got to let it do its thing. You got to let it, not take out support. They'll sometimes check it twice, and then you get a nice thrust above resistance. They come back down below it. You could take the coin right off the table, like right when it takes out that little box. Okay, let's see. If I need lightning crutch, which lightning should I put on my chart? I would recommend, just training your eye to see both of them. But if you get like a real thrust like this right here, lightning 2 will not even draw. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Because you have to have 2 bars. See how that's just straight up? Okay, now lightning 1 may even be straight up. Let's find out. Now see lightning 1 still did little zigzags. So lightning 1 can definitely make a difference in not letting it go all the way back. Because see here, when it was zigzagging like that, you can clearly get out of the trade when it takes out the identified lightning on the left side of the chart. Okay? Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And oil should go crazy again tomorrow, I'm sure. Okay? Hope everybody enjoyed the webinar, and keep in mind that we aim to teach this every single day. We don't need market profile. We don't need CCI. We don't need RSI. We don't need stochastics. We don't need any of that stuff. Okay? We just need price action and these charts. Learn to see the phantom trade. Learn to see the mid-band trade. Draw your lines on your charts. You'll know where they're going. Okay? And your predictors are going to draw them too. Look at those predictors. Beautiful trade, beautiful trade. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you in the morning. Did I miss any questions? Let me see. Louis, you asked a question about the phantom. So in this case, it didn't break the last swing, so phantom here is good. Yeah, matter of fact, if this was to do a phantom right now, see, if you draw your line on your chart, you could actually touch that without breaking lightning 3. Now, lightning 3 here is high, low, lower high, but it's still stair stepping up, so this may not be a lower high, right? Okay, so yeah, just always, if you break lightning 3, you want to box in your phantom, but keep in mind that it could go the other way. Okay, all right, we'll see everybody in the morning. Thanks.